Happy Wednesday. Hope you're having a good beginning of your week. Truly pray that you see God's hand of leading and blessing in your life as you've gone through this week and as you continue to go through the rest of this week. Last Sunday, Pastor Randy began a new sermon series that we're going to take through the rest of the summer out of the book of Psalms. If you didn't get a chance to listen to that or watch that, I encourage you to go back and watch that sometime this week. The idea with Psalms is for a lot of people, it can be kind of a love-hate relationship with the book of Psalms. There's just some people who just struggle with reading through Psalms and maybe not totally understanding what's being said and what's happening there, as it is referred to a book of poetry. And for others, they can't get enough of the Psalms and what the writers are conveying that is applicable for us today. The book of Psalms is basically just a collection of prayers, of poems, and hymns that can focus and lead people, including those writers, to worship God and to focus on the thoughts of who God is, and therefore lead to an attitude of prayer and praise and adoration. And actually, parts of this book was used as a hymnal in the worship services for the ancient Israel. The musical heritage, if you will, of Psalms is demonstrated just purely by the title. It actually comes from a word that means a song sung to the accompaniment of a musical instrument. And so Psalms are praises that lead to or come out of an attitude of prayer. They're primarily a statement about God and about the life that the writers and that we can identify that we're going through. One of the important elements of Psalms is that they show us how prayer can take a wide variety of forms in our life, and I think both with the focus on prayer and even praise is why it can have this love-hate relationship with some of us. Kind of without, or one of the advantages of the Psalms, they truly can assist us in our prayer life. There is no doubt that prayer can kind of become routine and it doesn't allow us to connect with God. It may feel like we're saying or praying the same thing over and over and maybe don't feel like God even hears our prayers. And so the Psalms gives us the means, if you will, to come to prayer before a holy God who does care, who does listen, and kind of a fresh understanding, a fresh state of mind. The Psalms can allow us to see that we're not first to feel God is silent, that He does hear us, He does care, and He cares about the anguish, as you hear from some of the psalmists that they're going through, and even the confusion of life, and be honest before God. And I truly am one who does connect with Psalms because I saw in my own life at a period of time when I was a youth pastor in Chicago and walking through a very good friend of one of the leaders in the church that I was at in Chicago, where he had his adopted child taken away from him by DCFS. And he daily relied on the Psalms, and his anguish brought him to a place where some of the writers of Psalms go before them. He found during this time and helped me to see and to understand that it's okay to be honest before God, to be real before Him. God hears us no matter what, and He wants to know what is on our heart, and it's okay to yell at God when we don't understand, when we are hurting, when we are confused. And you see in some of the Psalms, it's okay to question God when we don't understand. But what we always see in the Psalms is at the end of the chapter, if you will, the author comes back even in times of confusion, even in times of hurt and pain and anguish, and comes to the realization that he can trust God. God is God, we're not, and we will trust Him and lean on Him. And you see that time and time again in the book of Psalms. Psalms offers us ways to rejoice in prayer, to bow in worship, and to exalt God for all that He's doing in our life. Yes, the good and the bad, but also brings us to a time of understanding His blessings and to live in the presence of Him being with us. There's nothing quite like a Psalms to give you peace when you wake up in the middle of the night and you just can't go back to sleep. Open the book of Psalms. Allow God's word to minister to you when your sleep kind of is absent, and those thoughts in your mind keep going over and over, whether it's thoughts of fear or anguish or hurt or pain or just afraid of what tomorrow will bring. Go to the book of Psalms and see if it doesn't comfort you and bring you peace. We truly can bring all of our feelings to God. No matter how negative or complaining they may be, we can rest assured that God will hear, God does understand, and He truly wants to meet us where we are. The psalmist teaches us that the most profound prayer that we can have at times is just simply crying out before Him to help us, to understand us, to bring us into His presence, and to be overwhelmed by Him instead of the problems that we face in life. And when we are tuned into our own attitude or mind of resentment or anger or bitterness or despair, then these emotions can be deeply destructive, not only in our own thought process, but in our work life, in our family, dealing with those around us. And it kind of can leave this sour taste day in and day out in our life. And the Psalms are able to take these dark emotions and transform them into life-giving, life-healing peace because of our worship and attitude of prayer. Psalms truly can do that, and our hope is these next few weeks that you allow God's Word, you allow the Psalms to shape our affections so that we can love what God's Word says and deeply desire the blessings that He promises to bring us through the gospel, through the good news of Jesus Christ, and know that we are complete in Him. God just wants to meet us where we are. And so I encourage you to walk with us through this journey of Psalms, and that it hopefully will be truly a blessing as we continue to go through this the next month or two. God bless. Thank you again for joining us.